For many, the Slacks are familiar faces. Ian Slack is a renowned businessman and is best known for his long-standing role as the manager of the St. Kitts Bottling Company. His wife, Yvette Slack, is famous for her impact in early childhood education through her work as the founder of SLACKS Preschool. But despite their popularity in these regards, their lives started long before their reputation was nationally established. We know Mrs. Slack, at least those of us from the education fraternity and everybody who's old enough who wanted to be or who was an alumni of your preschool, but tell me who you are.
Yes, I am Yvette Slack. I am the daughter of Maureen and Roland Udenberg, and I had 10 siblings, 5 brothers and 5 sisters.
Ooh. And you were number what?
Number 8.
Number 8, so you were almost a baby. And Mr. Ian, tell us a little about yourself.
I was born in Antigua.
Oh, you're an Antiguan.
But my father is from St. Kitts, right? My mother is from America, right? And I was born at the North Sound Sugar Estate. My father was in the sugar industry in St. Kitts, but he had to leave St. Kitts in 1937 because he got divorced. So I'm from a second marriage in Antigua. I lived at North Sound for the first 11 years of my life. And because Daddy was in the sugar industry, we moved to another estate. But unfortunately, in 2 years, Antigua had 2 storms, and the roof went on both houses, so we had to move twice. Before finally, in 1952, Dad moved to the house where he bought. And he was very happy because where we moved to school, we had 4 children. The 4 of us could walk to school.
No more driving.
No more driving for Dad, because we used to get out 7 o'clock in the night because Dad used to travel over 300 miles, over 100 miles in 3 years, visiting all the estates to make sure everything was in order.
Okay. Fantastic. So how did you get to St. Kitts?
Okay. My father is from St. Kitts, was born at Connery.
Yes.
And I began to work at Harper's, affiliated here with the Harper's here. I used to earn $16 a week. And I found out that Liat was charging $16 round trip. $16 round trip.
All of your money.
I said, if one week could take me up to St. Kitts, and Daddy's from St. Kitts, let me ask Daddy if he knows anybody in St. Kitts. And of all people, he knew her family.
Oh, wow.
So I came to St. Kitts to spend 2 weeks with their family. But being 5 years older, she was 12 and I was 17. She had nothing to say to me but good morning and good night. Amen, hallelujah, for the 2 weeks. That's all she said to me.
You came to see my big brothers. You didn't come to see me.
So you are also very famous for your signs outside Miss Slack. And I took the time and I went and I read the sign for today, and it says, respect your elders because they graduated without Google, WhatsApp, and Facebook. What provoked you to be so loud and so visible with sharing your knowledge?
Well, it started with the parents. Every week I put out a thought for the week. So the parents got a thought for the week the whole 32 years that I had my school going. So I had been collecting quotes. When I closed my school, I said, this can't stop. I love these quotes. People send me them to share. And so I decided to put them up. And now it's a ministry. It's a ministry. Many people meet me and say, we come up the road specially to read your quotes. And one boy said, what you said that one day changed my life. So I feel it's a ministry, thanks be to God.
Sometimes we take for granted the resilience and the strength of the elders, things like reading books and going to the library, etc. So what you have outside is it's entertaining, it's enlightening, and it's appropriate. So thank you. It's definitely a ministry. I don't know if you're on social media, but you are featured on social media a lot. You are featured on social media a lot. I want to know how you grew up. Where are you from in St. Kitts?
I was born in West Square Street and lived there till I was 4 years old. Then we moved to Keon Street, to a house where the cable building is right now. And I lived there until I was 18 years old and got married and left.
And how did you orient yourself when you first got here, Mr. Slack? Where did you live? Where did you live when you first got here?
On the 1st of October, 1957, I was still working with a company in Antigua called Fitzpatrick Graham,
An auditing firm.
an auditing company that used to do Antigua, Montserrat, and St. Kitts. That's how they knew me. For the last first month, October, I worked with them, right? So Jeffrey Boone offered me a job because their accountant had died. So you're not gonna believe this, but I accepted a job away from home, having to pay everything out of my own pocket, $215 a month. Of course, because I could not afford to party or go to the movies, my Lyman spot was a parent's home.
My house.
That's where you went to lime. If I wanted to lime, free liming, go to her house.
And free food, I'm sure.
No, not free food.
From my mother?
Maybe a sandwich, but not,
Oh, not real food, no.
not real.
But she didn't let him starve.
No, she didn't.
Oh, no, he didn't start.
All right, just to give you an example, the hotel, I stayed at a hotel called Royal St. Kitts. Board and lodge, including residence and food, was $100 a month. Can you believe that? And then I came from Antigua with a motor scooter called a Vespa. And I had an accident. And I had one in Antigua, and this was my second accident. And I said, Lord, I ain't got my mother here to look after me now. So I decided to buy a car. A brand new car for $2,850. But of course, I had to pay it on terms. So
Morris Minor, a little
a Morris Minor.
You remember the car, Miss Slack?
Cool. I learned to drive in it.
And of course, she said I was still too old for her. So for 3 years, she ignored me.
Well, I was studying it. I was needed to focus.
I agree. That was a smart move. And he was an even smarter man to wait, it seems.
I was brought up.
What was it like being a member of your family? What relationship you had with your parents?
I had two wonderful parents. They were really amazing. And I love my father as well. He used to let me come in the garden with him and teach me how to plant. He taught me how to sweep a drain. He said, no, women have to know everything as well. Yeah, they were good people. Everything they did was for us. And my father wasn't well. One time he was out of work for 13 months. But my mother didn't work. She stayed home and did everything she could. And they really were wonderful. And then my siblings now, I got along good enough with them, especially the younger one, because I was somebody who believed in right and I knew what was wrong. So when they did their naughty things, I would tell on them, and they didn't like me.
Oh.
So some of them would call me nunzy. You know what nunzy means? That you're going to be a nun. So I didn't mind. It's okay. I took it, but we still got along. You know, it wasn't any big thing.
But you were the disciplinarian.
Yes. And they said, of course, what get them a little vexed too, that I was my parents' favorite child.
Do you think you were the favorite, Miss Slack?
I don't know. I never thought of it that way until they said it. I didn't, because I saw how hard it was for my mother to love 11 children. I didn't, you know, see her focusing completely on me, you know.
But you made her task easier by being a good girl.
Well, she used to let me do the shopping. She would send me to the grocery. I'd say, you could do it. You could count the money. You would know what to do.
And so she gave you responsibility. Okay, so how would you describe yourself as a child, Yvette?
I was very quiet too.
Very.
I didn't talk much, but I was a good listener. And I always liked to listen to older people talking. So when my grandmother came to the house every afternoon, her friends would come and talk to her. I always sat and listened to them. When my mother's friends came to the house, I would listen, but sometimes they would say, all right, go now, we want to talk private stuff. But apart from that, I loved playing outdoor games, cricket or anything in the yard with my brothers and sisters, and rounders at school.
I remember rounders where you get the ball and you
at
hit it.
school.
Yeah.
And volleyball. I loved the volleyball at school. And then I made the netball team.
Oh, really? What position did you play?
Center.
You're a center. Yeah, nice. Who is this woman, Miss Slack?
My sister.
It's your sister?
The only one left back now.
She looks like you.
She's in a home.
Okay. And Ian, so you had no siblings here by the time you moved. You left all of your siblings in Antigua?
Yep.
And so Miss Slack's family became your Kittitian family.
Correct.
And that's how you integrated into the Kittitian society.
First Federal Cooperative Credit Union, we have a one-of-a-kind business solution that will simplify your business operations and increase your cash flow. Here's how. Earn 0.5% interest per annum paid monthly on your checking account. Get your first checkbook free. Pay no monthly maintenance fees. Get a pre-approved business line of credit. Get a pre-approved Ubiquity MasterCard credit card. Enroll automatically in our Business Rewards program. Pay no fees for our 24/7 depository service. Get free cash management services. Take advantage of our free payroll services. Take advantage of our business advisory service. So what are you waiting for? Visit your nearest branch to open your Business Builder account today. At First Federal, we say yes to building your business.
Caring for you comes naturally. It's a role I cherish deeply. That's why we put you first.
When I walk through the doors of First Federal, I carry with me a heart of commitment. That is why we put you first.
The patience that I have learned from work-life balance benefits my daily interactions because every member matters to us.
Hi, can I have a minute of your time?
Yes, we are here for you.
Okay.
Remember, we listen to your needs. My dedication to your needs is our #1 priority.
We are leaders.
We are nurturers.
We put you first.
I am looking around at your house and I'm seeing so many awards, so many congratulatory validation of what your career must have been like. So I was on your Space Saver and I saw there is an award for 45 years of refreshing service to the bottling company, and there is a Sparkle, Aquavita, Coca-Cola logo. And so you would have given 45 or more years to the bottling company. How did you get to the bottling company?
Well, as I told you, because I was doing accounting, I traveled from Antigua to Montreal and stkitts. And the accountant for J.W. Thurston's, now TDC, had died. And so Jeffrey Boone knew me because I used to audit J.W. Thurston's. And he offered me the job at Bottling Company because his accountant used to do both companies. So he offered me the job at Bottling Company. Right? And believe you me, right? When I was single, not married, sometimes I'd get home at 3 a.m. to try and get Bottling Company back in shape because the company was only 4 years old when I joined it. Never made a profit. And my aim was to make the company profitable. I worked there for 50 years and we made a profit 47 times. But thanks to my wife, right? I didn't come home at 3 o'clock, but I used to get home 7 and 8 o'clock in the night.
Sometime 9.
She said sometimes 9 o'clock.
All right, and I had to talk to her, and I said, look, I'm trying to make Botany Company employees my family because I don't like the system. You're the boss and you're always right. That doesn't work with me. Somebody has a better opinion than you, let's try it. And it's amazing how many times you find out that their ideas are better than yours. And just to give you an example, there was a big problem with me during my employment. I didn't fire people. They left. I only dismissed 9 people in my 50 years.
It's 50 years in the end, eh?
If they did something wrong, I said, take a week off without pay, and I hope you learn the lesson and come back. And believe you me, 9 times out of 10, when they came back, much better employees.
So you rose to the position of general manager?
By accident.
And how long were you general manager? You retired?
I retired in 2008.
Oh, wow. So you had a very sterling career in management and leadership at the bottling company, and bringing it from 4 years of no profit to 47 years of making a profit.
And giving a big dividend to the shareholders.
And giving a big dividends to the shareholders.
Yes, ma'am.
Not firing much people, but creating a culture of family at work. Amazing.
Just to give you an example, I had a stroke in January. One of the past employees phoned me for 6 weeks after I came out of the hospital to find out how I was doing.
Every week he called.
Every week he'd call me for 6 weeks to find out how I was doing. And every now and then, maybe 2 or 3 months later, he'd call again to find out how I'm doing.
That's very nice.
Right?
That is fantastic.
I tried.
You succeeded.
Thanks to my lovely wife.
I encouraged him.
And supported the family while he was out at work.
And made sure he ate properly, made sure his clothes were clean and washed, and made sure he came home not too late at night.
I really respect the make sure that he came home not too late at night, because, you know, sometimes the professional man doesn't know when to cut off the work day. But you are also a hero in the community and a giant in your own right, Miss Slack. We had the very famous Miss Slack preschool. How did that come about?
Well, when I left school, the principal told me, you will make a good teacher and you need to come back and teach 5th form. Well, I panicked. How could I come back and teach the children that my friends that I just left in 4th form? I said, no, thank you. So I took a 6 months crash course and did secretarial and went to work at the sugar factory. After that, I got married. Then I had 1 child, 2 children. Then with the pregnancy of my 3rd child, I had German measles. So she was born here in Imperial. And with that, I took a correspondence course, how to deal with preschool deaf children. So I was building her vocabulary, teaching her, and she was really learning. And then the light bulb went off in my head. Wow, you could teach. So I realized I could teach. So I was telling my doctor about it, and he said, well, I'm going to send parents to you. So he sent me 6 parents at 6 different times till I got 7 with my child. And I opened a little deaf school in my house.
Wow.
Free, of course, because I didn't have a lot of training. I said, just send your children every day from 9 o'clock till 12 o'clock. And I would help them, and it would help Mary to have somebody to learn with. One child doesn't learn well alone. So we had deaf school going, very good. And all of them moved on and went to different deaf schools or hearing school, whatever. And there was I building my family. By now I had 6 children, reached down to 6. All the other first 5 were already in school, and little Miss 6th one was home alone. And a lot of people kept telling me, send her to preschool, send her to preschool. I said, no, I'm home. And I said, you know what? A nice lady down the road called Mrs. Vera had a little preschool. So 2 neighbors and Heidi, they would hold hands and go to her preschool every day. When Heidi used to come home every day, she was singing and dancing eating and loving. Mommy, it is lovely. And what's Heidi doing now? Heidi has a dance school. So I do believe that was rooted right there. Anyhow, I realized how good it was. So when baby number 7 came along, I said, wow, Ian, remember I used to have a deaf school? You don't think I could have a little preschool now in my house? So he said, sure. So I went to the ministry, found out from Leonie James, and she gave me permission. Said, sure, you could open a preschool, and you're in luck. This is the first time OCOD, which are Canadian people that send out specialists to train teachers every summer, are sending people to train preschool teachers. So before I even opened in September, I already went to my first workshop. So that was my basic training plus my correspondence course in teaching preschool deaf children. And I went to many, maybe 100 workshops. But the ministry were really good about preschool education. I think it's all over the years. I found that. And so that's how it came about.
When did you open this school?
In 1982.
Okay, so the school was opened in 1982 and was the baby daughter who does not prefer to be referred to as the baby. Was she one of the first students?
I opened the school for her, remember? Remember I told you the child number 7 had come. And instead of sending her to a preschool, I suggested to my husband that I open my own preschool. So she was the first child to step in the door. And I had 11 others. I opened with 12 children. And after that, without an advertisement, no advertisements anywhere, just word of mouth people. And then from then on, I took 25 children in each classroom because I had 2 classrooms now. So every day, 50 children came here.
And who was your first other teacher?
Teacher Althea Chambers. Mm-hmm. She went to a career fair and they'd come to ask me, do you have any pictures for us to put in the career fair? Which I did. And she saw me and she told the lady in charge, I want to get in touch with that woman because I want to work at that preschool. She worked for me for 20 years until the government took her away to be supervisor in their preschool.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. Then my daughter came and worked with me, my first child. She worked with me, and I had lots of others, Eva and James, and I had my helpers, Mary Hanley worked with me nearly the whole 32 years, and Obi, I had some real good workers.
Okay. How do you feel about the work that you have done?
I am happy. It were the happiest years of my life, and I was able to put through 9 of my own grandchildren came to my preschool. It was an opportunity for me to teach them about life. Where else would I get them, all together like that? So that was wonderful. And then when I see the children, how they have kept in contact with each other. There's so many of them are good friends still. Really, that makes me feel good. I don't want to boast about who is a doctor and who is a whatever. It doesn't matter. My main thing is that they're good people and they're all walking on the right path of life.
Meet the Johnson family, living a good life. How are they able to afford all this? By switching their mortgage to National. And you too can take advantage of this great offer. Yes, National Bank's Switch Mortgage will make your dreams a reality with the lowest interest rates guaranteed. You will have more disposable income than ever before. Imagine the possibilities. National Bank Switch Mortgage makes all the difference. Come home to National Bank and get your Switch Mortgage today.
Limited time offer. Terms and conditions apply.
So, Ian, you said something that is very interesting that most of us would take for granted, is that you were born in Antigua. From time to time, I go to Antigua. I consider it my second home. I'm very much in love with Antigua. Tell me what your Antigua was like as a child.
I was a very quiet child.
You were quiet.
Yes. My daughter's going to laugh at this one, but in 1944, I went to the Antigua Girls' School from 1944 to 1947. Everybody wants to know what I was doing at a girls' school, but that was a policy in Antigua then, right? And then from 47, I moved to the Antigua Grammar School, which was all boys. And I stayed there for 10 years. I left school in 1957.
So you went to grammar school?
Yes. All right. Now, at the grammar school, the main sport I played was football. But unfortunately, I got injured a lot. So I didn't do well in football. Then I tried athletics. Still didn't do well. But I have one glorious moment that I will not forget. The last event in 1957 Sports Day, when I was leaving school, was the 800 meters. And I decided I have never come any place, neither first, second, or third in any race. It's about time I do something. And I poured my whole heart out into the race. And believe you me, I was beaten by inches. I could touch the fella who beat me. His name is John McDonald. And I literally fainted and fell down at the crossing line.
Because you gave it your all.
I gave it my all. Right? And I'll never forget that. The teachers at the school were a lot of foreigners, right? But they taught me well. And Leonard Shorey was from Barbados, and he was my maths teacher. And I fell in love with him because maths became my life.
Yeah, he loved maths.
I love maths. Maths today is not the maths I learned at school, beg your pardon. But my daughter has taken over from me, Ruth. I don't know if you know Ruth.
I know her.
Yeah, my daughter has taken over from me.
Okay, I did too.
And she's smarter than me at maths, believe you me.
And she seems to have his work ethics as well.
She works hard.
I left school on Friday the 12th of April 1957. And I went to work on Monday, the 15th of April 1957. So I never had a break during my whole life other than regular holidays. I was, like she said, her father was out of work for 13 months. I wasn't out of work for one day.
Your mom had 4 children.
Yes.
Did you have brothers and sisters? How was that?
My oldest brother
1 year
is a year and a month older than me. Then I'm number 2. And my sister Yvonne is number 3. My brother is Gordon. And my youngest sister had the same name as my wife, Yvette. So at one time, there were 2 Yvette Slack in the family before she got married.
Navigating individual careers sometimes poses a challenge for married couples. Because of their unwavering commitment to each other, Ian and Yvette ensured that their personal and professional lives could harmoniously coexist in their household. You had a small family, Ian, and you had a large family, Yvette. One of the things in your biography, I'm holding a deck of cards, but I think I could shuffle. This is what you call shuffling.
Know something. You know something about cards.
A little bit. And you are a bridge champion. You're an OECS champion, a local champion, a regional champion of the game of bridge. And I want you to take the pack of cards from me and explain to the audience what is bridge.
Well, first of all, there's a game called whist. If you take up whist, they will say hearts or trumps. That's an easy way. With bridge, you don't decide by cutting the pack, which is trumps. It's a partnership game. You have to be, the two of you have to play against 2 people. So with bridge, you have to start with 4 people. That's the minimum. And you have to bid. And spades is a high suit, then hearts, then diamonds, then clubs. So if you bid 1 spade, the opponents have to bid 2 hearts, 2 diamonds, or 2 clubs to outbid you. You can bid a part score, or you can bid a game. If you make what you bid, you get a plus score. If you don't make what you bid, you go down, as we call it, the opponents get the score. No, I can tell you this. We have had 31 tournaments in the OECS Bridge Championships in the Caribbean, but we now have Guadeloupe and Martinique playing with us. Right? But it used to be strictly the Caribbean, Antigua, Montserrat, Dominica, St. Lucia, Grenada, and stkitts has won, and you can see the trophy right there. And
It's a big trophy.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Well, and you'll see that it was donated by our stkitts too. We have won the trophy 10 times, including the last time in 2019 because of COVID. So we haven't played for the past 3 years. But the teams are so competitive and so close. If anybody plays cricket and you've heard somebody has won by 1-1, you'll understand how close some of our victories are.
Mm-hmm.
Because when you win in bridge, you call it trick, not a run, you call it a trick, right? And I'm not going to kid you, but of the 10 times, we have won twice by half a trick.
Wow.
Wow, I didn't realize that.
And we have lost by half a trick. The teams are very, very close. So while we have won 10 times, Dominica has won 8, Antigua has won 6, St. Lucia has won 4, and Montserrat has won 3.
Has Antigua ever said to you, well, you know, Ian, you're an Antiguan, come play for us?
No.
No?
No.
I would have wanted you back if I was Antigua.
I'll tell you something else. The 4 of us won that trophy. 1 was from Canada, 1 was from England, 1 was a woman,
US.
and I'm a man.
The US.
Yes,
what's
it was the US. And I'm from Antigua.
So, stkitts, we inherited all of the best players. I'm just going to take that. We inherited all of the best players.
National Home Loans. Get your dream home. All could be yours. Walk through the door. Come take what you need. Get you the keys. All could be yours. What you deserve. National Home Loans. Get your dream home. Get your dream home. Right it. Get your dream home. National Home Loans. Get your dream home.
National Home Loans. Home ownership made easy. When you're with National, you're home.
Ian and Yvette Slack have been married for 60 years. These years have been marked with values of love, respect, patience, and shared faith. They have quite a beautiful love story. From meeting in their teenage years to now being the proud parents of 7 beautiful children. How did you guys meet? Like, Ian, I know you said she was 12 when you saw her first and she gave you the cold shoulder. When did you know she was going to be Miss Slack?
In 1961, I was in Anguilla working, and I received a letter from her. And she said, I'm ready to be your girlfriend. Now, she does not remember sending me that letter.
I don't recall.
But
too many things.
We had been dating, but marriage hadn't come up. But after she wrote that letter, I knew that's what I wanted. Although she was only 17 at the time, she told her mother, but I had to go and tell her father and ask for permission to marry her. And he said, come, let's go and have a drink. He was very happy because most of his children married in the teens. Right? Particularly girls, not the boys. Particularly girls. Right?
So, Miss Slack, when did you know you wanted to be his girlfriend?
We had been dating for a good while, and he was real nice, real handsome, and he could kiss.
He could.
Wow. But we were Christian people, and we agreed there will be no sex before marriage. That was no question. So we decided we have to get married. So I made up my mind.
I have here in my hand a picture of your wedding day. And if I might add, it is quite stunning. Like, I'm looking at the made of honor dresses, and it's definitely something I would wear today. It's so stylish and timeless. And who made your wedding dress?
Dress was made by the ex-governor, Dr. Cuthbert Sebastian, his old mother. She lived across the road from us, and we knew that she could sew, and my mother asked her if she would make it, and she was so happy. She didn't charge me 1 cent.
She didn't charge you?
No.
And everything looks so amazing. So what was it like marrying 60 years ago? What was the wedding like?
Oh, the wedding day was really lovely. And what was nice, the reception was held in our house. And in the yard, we took all the pictures in the garden. And only 19 people were invited, just family. For one, we couldn't afford a big wedding.
19 is a good wedding.
Yeah.
And everything is this stylish, just impeccable. Your mother's jewelry, her dress, everything. Your sister not wearing her shoes, but her bob is so iconic. It's just such a timeless photo. Beautiful. What was the wedding like for you, Mr. Slack?
The wedding was my happiest day in my life.
Wow.
She didn't tell you that we spent our honeymoon in Anguilla at Rendezvous Hotel for a week.
Rendezvous?
Rendezvous Hotel. Very nice name.
A lot of people ask one of the reasons, or a reason why you think your marriage had lasted 60 years. People disagree with me, but I'll tell you this much. Yvette is a born Roman Catholic. I am a born Methodist. But my parents only went to church mostly at Easter and Christmas morning at 5 o'clock. She's very religious, and she's taught me a lot about religion. And as a result, I became a Catholic before I got married to her.
Your life in the church and God being at the center is what kept you together for 60 years?
All the time.
Yes,
all the time.
we know that we both love God more than we love each other. He knows it, and I know it.
And one thing my father always taught me, right? Never go to bed with your wife without resolving any issues you might have.
Correct.
And as a Christian woman, she's very patient and forgiving.
Patient is what I know about, and forgiving and forgetting.
This, you told me, is your favorite picture of your children.
7 children.
Tell me about your children.
Oh, they're all wonderful. My first, she helped me raise my children because she was only 18 years younger than me. Alan, he was a fix-it man. From a little boy, he could fix anything in the house. So he was real helpful. Mary now was our blue rose, as we call her, special child, deaf child. She brought our family together. We all had a common thing between us that needed help, and everybody rallied around her, you know? Then Ruth was God sent. She came very bright right after Mary, so she helped Mary through school. She sat in the class. We kept Mary back 2 years so that she could be in there with Ruth. And she carried her right through by 10. The teacher said that. And she went, oh, good. And the teacher said that. You know, Ruth would fill her in what she would miss.
So Mary could hear a little bit.
A little bit in one ear.
Okay.
And then Noella came. She was very special because she was the only child I nearly lost. Only baby I nearly lost, but I didn't lose her. And there was Heidi, number 6, and Heidi came with a lot of water. When Heidi was born, the water shot out on the floor and hit the ground, splat. I believe she was dancing away in there. That's why it is. And then there is the baby, the special child.
Yes. Who is not a baby.
No. And she was our biggest baby, but she was wonderful.
You said you had your daughter that was a blue rose. How was it in a Kittitian society, raising a child that had a learning disability or who learned having a different ability?
When I took the correspondence course, they stipulated that don't really teach her sign language right now because you're going to end up just you and her doing sign language. Teach her to read people's lips. So that was the main topic in the correspondence course that I took, teaching her to read lips, and all our children did that with her, spoke to her slowly, you know, Mary, how are you, kind of stuff, so she could read the lips and follow. And then later on, we did a little bit of sign language, but not much because she did that really in America.
What has it been like to love the same person for 60 years, to grow from an adult, a child, to an adult, to an elder with the same person?
It wasn't hard to love him because he loved me and he loved his children. He loved his children. That was very important. And then, of course, we didn't get in each other's way. I had my little career, he had his. And then, of course, the children. You know, it's a lot of children in the house. We have to work with them too. So that was a way of keeping us together. It wasn't too hard. It wasn't that hard.
And just to tell you, I've just finished a 7 weeks course to make us better Christians.
Life in the Spirit.
Life in the Spirit of the church. And because of our church, it has sincerely helped us to stay together and love each other.
This looks like a celebration of your love. Do you remember?
50th anniversary.
10 years ago? Wow. How is it being a great-grand and a grandmother?
Well, it's nice being a grandmother because you can love them and help them, and at night they go home. They
go home at night?
And they don't have to be here on the weekend either, you know? So it's nice, and I'm glad we're alive to be able to teach them stuff. And the main thing made me happy that I was able to have 9 of my grandchildren come to my school.
The reason she didn't have the other 2 was Mary. 2 boys were born in America.
Right.
They didn't go to school.
So it was 11 grand.
Now we had 11 grands. But they went to school in America.
And now the great grands, no school there for them. But I have a little school on the gallery, you know.
I realize. Yeah. I'm like, this school's still going on.
Boy, he comes.
He had a great,
and the other one is my sister who died. So there's no grandmother in there. So I am like
grandma.
That's the grandchildren.
These are the grandchildren. Beautiful.
2 haven't been born yet.
Nice.
That means that's over 16 years ago.
That's over 16 years ago.
Yeah, because the youngest just turned 16.
What are some of your family values? I hear church. I hear God. What are some other family values? What it is you teach your children?
Respect and love.
Don't tell lies.
Don't tell lies. Right?
Work hard for what you need. Work hard. Children know they have to work hard for what they need.
And we are taught to love even those who hate us.
And we have a thing about the Sunday. Sunday is a day of rest. Even if you don't go to church, you shouldn't be doing any work. Nothing. Just rest, relax, go to the beach, really rest. Sunday is a mini vacation given to us by God.
What would you tell younger couples who are just on their 60 or 6th day of marriage as you're heading into 60?
Well, for one, we tell them, don't drink, don't womanize.
Don't womanize. Oh.
I had no trouble not womanizing. I have a wonderful wife. What's that? Yeah?
What would you tell a young woman who's married, Miss Slack?
You have to be really patient. And one of the things I could tell the women, the way to a man's heart is through his stomach.
So cook.
Make sure you know what he likes to eat and give him, and of course, give him what is good for him too.
Give him
especially. Good for him especially. But the way to a man's heart is really through his stomach.
What would you tell if you had an audience of generations 20-something and 30-something, those of us who have not come into real wisdom as yet? What would you tell us? And I want to hear it from you individually.
Prayer is very important. And we have to understand that without God, we can do nothing. Once we have that in our brain and our heart, and we understand that it's God that directs everything in our life, we'll make it. And of course, prayer, because you have to pray for what you want. And sometimes we don't understand God's wisdom, but we have to trust Him. His wisdom maybe takes too long to answer your prayer, but He has wisdom. He knows why or what He's doing to give you the right answer. We have to pray a lot to get anywhere in this world, and we have to understand that God loves us no matter what.
Well, sometimes there are reasons why one person can't get married right away. It could be illness, anything, right? So I tell people, be patient, forgive. You're not perfect, I'm not perfect. So if you think because somebody made a mistake, you're not going to make one, you're wrong. So you have to be patient. Now people ask, well, how many years I have to be patient?
I know. How much times I have to forgive?
That one I can't answer, but God will help you. If you have faith in God, you will get the right answer.